to people, seeing minds unlock, that's exciting. And I knew that when we launched this print media, it would be successful. We've had 86,000 copies go out. People bought close to 40,000 copies in just a day and a half. And I didn't print more because I can't ship them. I mean, we can get this out in about a week. The hard copies of InfoWars Magazine inaugural edition, the economic collapse, Rome burned, will we, print 2.0, bank cartel, Conquers America, history of false flags, why government loves state-sponsored terrorism. It's sold out. The only thing you can get is the InfoWars rack. We got about 100 of those for people that want to buy them in bulk and then sell them in their businesses. We put 50,000 free on the streets of Austin. We're going to do a full franchise thing where you can have part of the content locally and the advertising part of it and print it in your area. We'll help you do that. We want to partner, and we're having some, actually, we had a national chain, a national newspaper, you know the name, call us and wants to work with us. So it's overwhelming success. The only problem is that now people can't read it because it is paper and it's sold out. We held 4,000 back, so when we come out with subscriptions, we'll have some of the first issue. But to make a long story short, because I got to go back to Belzer, you can sign up at Infowars.com/newsletter, and we will send you out the next week, and every news blast in there will be a link to a digital copy of it where you can flip the pages and click on the links and more. So Infowars.com/newsletter to get that. But I think that says the country is hungry for the truth. That's why Dead Wrong is running up the bestseller list on Amazon, running up on the New York Times. We need to get this up there to #1 because it sends a message out. Dead Wrong. I mean, people are getting more excited about exposing tyranny, aren't they, Richard? We were just talking about that during the break.
Yeah, you know, people want the information, and because, you know, as Jefferson said, an informed citizenry is our best defense against tyranny. And that he meant tyranny of our own government. A true patriot protects his country against his government sometimes. And I think that's what we're doing. There are elements within the government, like you were talking about whistleblowers earlier. Under Obama, they busted more whistleblowers than any other president. It's like, what? You know, they're still rendering people legally. You could still put a hood over an American and send them off somewhere, and God knows what they'll do. And that, you know, after this presidential election, a lot of things are obfuscated because of the shrill contentiousness of the election. But I think after this election, we can really focus on what the government has been doing and what they're really doing.
Well, that's right. If Romney gets in and thinks that he's going to just business as usual, he's got another thing coming. People turned on Obama very quickly. They're going to turn on him, and the ruling class has to know that. Their bull is not working anymore.
No, the ruling class is running scared, I think, for the first time, maybe, I don't know in how long. And it's because of information. And I love your term, InfoWars, because it is a war. And those who control the past control the present. Those who control the present control the future, as Orwell said. And by us revealing the true past, we are controlling the present, and therefore we can affect the future. That's why, you know, children.
Stay there. Well, hold on. One more segment with Richard Belzer, one of many more visits. Next time he wants to come back, take an hour of calls. Dead Wrong. I'm going to ask him about troops being grabbed in psychiatric facilities.
You are listening to GCN.
Hour number 3, the one, the only, is on with us right now. And he's written the book, Dead Wrong, Richard Belzer, with David Wayne, afterward by Jesse Ventura. Really an amazing book, available at InfoWarsShop.com and everywhere else on the planet. Sold out here. We got more coming next week, but it's still available there if you want to get in there. You know, it's good to see the excitement out there about freedom. Now, we're going to have a big story out on this soon, but we have confirmed now, going on behind the scenes, that in the county alone, where Brandon Raub, the honorably discharged Marine, got grabbed and they wanted to commit him, and the psychiatrist said, I'm going to brainwash you, trying to freak him out, that there were other people in there, including veterans, and they're doing a national sweep, grabbing even talk show host veterans. They're very scared of younger combat veterans between, say, 20 and 35 or so, or even older, but that seems to be who they're scooping up for nothing. I mean, the one talk show host that the Northeast Intelligence Group wrote about that we had on the show, and they've sent us the documents and articles confirming it. He just said, man, the thing's collapsing. This country's going to hell in a handbasket, and I'm going to buy some guns to protect myself. They came and grabbed him and took his guns and put him in a mental institution. until he got out when he agreed to never have guns again. I mean, no judge, no jury. And I understand the fear of mentally ill people with guns. You're not going to stop a real shooter, folks, who's mad about their hot dog stand in New York. You know, but I don't want to get off into that. My question is, in history, Richard, I know you've studied it. And like you said, you were awake before I was awake. You've been talking about this for 30-something years. They always use psychiatry to go after people. What's your take on this frightening new trend?
Well, it's not a new trend. It's like, the Soviet Union would jail someone if they politically disagreed and send them to there's a great book called The Puzzle Palace. Well,
they're still doing it. Yeah, but I mean, new trend, and it's accelerating.
Now we're doing it. We've always been fascinated by mind control. And people think that's like science fiction. But our whole country is under mind control in terms of buying products, being lied into wars. And people don't like to believe that they can be controlled because Americans are spirited into individualists. We're from all different parts of the earth, and we've got this great, unbelievable country, and we want our freedom, we want information, and we want to be protected, we want to protect our families. But now they're trying to demonize and make people who are super sane seem crazy. I mean, I don't ever want people to not be able to defend themselves, and just to hint at someone being crazy because they want to defend themselves out of a rational fear of the state. That's chilling stuff. That's Nazi Germany. That's the Soviet Union. And, our country now, I'm sad to say, by definition, by Mussolini's definition, we are a fascist state. And by that, I mean, it's a corporate state. It's a country that is for the corporation, not the individual. And that's
right. Individuals don't have rights. Now the corporations do, which wasn't even legal till about 160 years ago in this country. In closing, we got to have you back as soon as you want to come back to take calls, Richard. I'm sorry, we're almost out of time. Let me just ask you one more question about Walken. Is he really disconnected politically because he seems like he's so smart, or is he so private he refuses to get into controversy?
No, he really, I talk to him a lot. And I've learned over the years that he has a brilliant take on things. And I start railing, and he'll say, well, Richard, hasn't it always been that way? I mean, he's wise. He doesn't want to get caught up in the poison that's put out there. So
in the minutia, he's kind of flying above it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be on the grid. He doesn't read that many, newspapers and stuff. And, I'll tell him stuff, and he'll go, He's a wonderful individual who's a gift to us.
Well, I owe you for having him on the show, and I owe you for coming on the show. But if you've ever got those stars lined up again, or somebody else that'll pop in, we would love it. You're awesome. Everybody get the book today. Drive up to #1. It's on Amazon.com, InfoWarsShop.com, everywhere. Dead Wrong, Straight Facts on the country's most controversial cover-ups. And there's your wife, and there's the doggy. Hi, what a cute one. Put them full screen as we go out. Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you so much.
All right.
To the globalist, eugenicist, control freak. We've got an in-depth breakdown of the history of medical tyranny and how to fight back against it. Really part 2 of the interview we started a month or so ago with Dr. Peter Glidden, but I had to bring Richard Belzer back on just in a short segment because he was bringing his wife and their dogs on air. So let's just briefly go back to him, because I didn't know this story that your dog vomited on Brzezinski's daughter, which is a big plus. This dog's now a celebrity, in my view, when you were on, I guess, MSNBC on the morning propaganda. Tell us about the dog doing its civic duty.
Sure. Well, first of all, here's how gay I am. This is my wife. Yeah, well, Bebe goes with me everywhere. This is Bebe, who followed me home one day. Followed our other dog home. Has been with me for over 5 years. But we were on Morning Joe, and Mika was holding him, and I guess he didn't like what she was saying, and he threw up on her on camera, and it was really funny. So we were back on yesterday, I believe. Yeah, yesterday. And he didn't throw up on her, but I brought a towel out and put it on her and made a thing out of it.
Well, introduce us to your wife.
I'm sorry?
Introduce us to the lovely, or is that your daughter?
No, that's my wife.
Thank you.
No, that's my beautiful wife. We've been together for 30, how many years?
You're the one that keeps
32 years. We met on March 3rd, 1981. We've been married 27 years, and we dream about each other, Alex. So I don't know if Chris Walken's going to be happy about that. But
hey, going back here briefly, does your lovely wife share your views on things?
Some. just like any wife.
No, she holds my feet to the fire, asks really great questions, and she's my number one loving critic and doesn't let me get full of myself, and saved my life years ago because I was, one of those crazy guys from the 70s and 60s. But no, we've had a wonderful relationship. We've grown together. My wife is kind of a scholar on antiquity and ancient religions and the origins of thought, and she's a great gardener. Next time I'll take you on a tour of our place here in France, where the resistance fighters lived.
Oh, you're in France right now?
I'm in southwest France in a little village that will go unnamed. But you can come and visit.
I can tell you, my wife is so jealous right now. She grew up in France because her dad was a diplomat.
Well, you got to come over here.
What part of France?
We have two. We're in France.
What part of France?
She lived in Paris. Yeah.
Well, you got to come over, man. I got 2 houses. You have privacy.
You're so nice. I guess I could. The Skype's working this good. Richard, it's great talking to you and seeing your wife. Congratulations on the book doing so well, and we'll talk to you again soon, my friend.
Thanks for selling the book, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Well, there he goes. Richard Belzer, TV movie star, and with his wife and dogs there. Very, very, very interesting. Okay, shifting gears back into the hardcore subjects. Not that it wasn't hardcore enough, all those government cover-ups we were covering earlier in his book, Dead Wrong. I wanted to get Glidden back on because he really rocked the house last time he was on, I don't know, a month and a half ago or however long it was, getting into medical tyranny. And when he's saying all this stuff, I've done the research. It's dead on. But it's so hardcore the way he lays it out. So I've got a big stack of research I want to get into here right now. And there's so much medical tyranny coming down the pike. They're announcing on all these big online sites, they're not going to let people sell health stuff anymore. They're trying to restrict vitamins and mineral sales. Really, a big deal is taking place. I'm glad I actually brought that Christopher Walken thing up because that had become quite a controversy. I think it's going to be even bigger now. But we're lining up Dr. Peter Glidden, very articulate and very informed gentleman, to be joining us here in just a moment. I will tell you right now that in the whole Brandon Raub story is, we were just talking to, during the break, a few breaks ago, talking to Stuart Rhodes of Oath Keepers, and he's down at Paul Fest, which I was invited to be the keynote speaker. I just couldn't make it, but I want to thank everybody for inviting me down to Tampa. I hope the hurricane doesn't hit them. But he was saying that's the hottest issue down there, is that veterans all over are confirming they're being grabbed. That's why we've got coming on the show tonight, the nightly news. McBreen's doing the main news, but I'm doing the interview. Well, one of two. It's big nightly news tonight. We're going to have Stuart Rhodes on who can confirm. He's confirming for us. Plus, we have listeners confirming it, and we have confirmed cases, but it's big. We're talking about dozens of veterans per county are being grabbed for saying, well, I was talking to one of our crew whose dad, I was authorized to talk about this, but I still really don't want to get into it, works at a facility, and a veteran said he hated Obama, and the Secret Service showed up and demanded he be fired, and they fired him. So they don't have the power to go after you really for your speech, except for throwing you in a mental institution, or they get you fired. I've had enough of this, man. I'm starting to really get upset about this. Now, we're going to get into the history of medical tyranny with Dr. Peter Glidden, BSND. He's the host of Fire Your MD Now, right here on the GCN Radio Network. Dr. Glidden received his BS degree from the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. He earned an ND from University of Seattle, Washington, at, I guess you say, Bastar. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Dr. Peter Glidden is an outspoken advocate of holistic health and currently has a private